Welcome back, fam. It's Friday. Happy Friday. Didn't really schedule or plan this stream, so probably going to be a little bit more of an intimate one, but those are the best ones by far. That's when we do the secrets, and we're going to actually start out with some secrets. So smash the like button. Subscribe if you haven't. Vote in the poll. Engage with the live stream chat. I'm going to try to do a good reading of the chat. I wanted to screen wipe because I'm feeling handsome today. Got a cut. Fresh cut. Ready to go. It's time. I hope everybody has some good weekend plans. I don't. I might go tubing because I think everything closes. Everything closes after this weekend. Let's get some tunes rocking. You can see I have a chart that I don't start with very often. Oh no, my headphones are going to die. We don't start with this chart very often, but it was requested by Chewy. Shout out, brother. It's a good chart to start with because this is very telling. Actually, it might even take a while to get into the Bitcoin chart because we have this one and another one that I believe are going to be more impactful. They're going to be more valuable to take a look at. So it's great to have everybody here. Let's quick shout out to our sponsors, Femex, Bybit, two of the leading industry exchanges. Love them. I trade there personally. I have for a long time. I trust them as far as I can trust exchanges. And, of course, Market Cypher. You're going to see me using Market Cypher live in our analysis here. Please let me know how the sound is if the music's too loud. You can see down here we have our live trade. Not a huge amount of change, but we are going to go over that before the stream ends. So let's get into it. Let's get the hype up. Let's get... The more you hype it, the more you engage with the stream, the more YouTube shows this stream to new viewers, and that's how we grow. It really does work. Hitting a like button feels effortless, feels meaningless, but it does make a difference, and chatting alongside and everything, it really does. So watch. All right. Let's start here with a very special chart to my heart. Bitcoin dominance. This is on the weekly, and it's doing something that I wouldn't actually expect it to be doing right now, and that's why we're going to start here. Because this is a little unusual. We did kind of look at this over the last few weeks. It has been selling off pretty gradually, and we were saying, hey, we might be seeing a retest of the low. We might even see our low break. But that is unusual. Why is that unusual? Well, for the most part right now, people have accepted that we're in a bear market. Right? I think that's like we've just submitted to it. We're in a bear market. And dominance is behaving differently than it did in the last cycle, and I'll show you. If we zoom out, now let's preface it this way. Bitcoin dominance is a measure. It's not actually a tradable chart, but it is a measure of the market cap of Bitcoin versus the total market cap of cryptocurrency. So it represents what percent of the total crypto market Bitcoin represents. Obviously above me, you can see that that was at 100%. That is the max value possible. It can't be more than 100%. It couldn't be lower than 0%. And so that makes this a unique chart. It does have a lot of value. However, we don't have a long history. At one point above me, you can see Bitcoin was really the only coin. There were some others, but they weren't relatively large in comparison. So Bitcoin was roughly 100% of the market. As new coins enter the market, this becomes more and more improbable to happen, Bitcoin being 100%. In fact, I would claim impossible for Bitcoin to ever be 100%, or Bitcoin dominance to ever be 100%, simply because if there's any other coin that has even 1 cent of market cap, it can't possibly reach 100, right? It can get very close. So in our history, let's go back in time here. Let's go back in time. Around 2016, we saw Bitcoin dominance drop for the first time ever. This, by definition, I should have said this. By definition, this chart should be bearish. And that doesn't matter if you're a Bitcoin maximalist like myself, if you're a bull or bear. That isn't really impactful. It's just fundamental. There's no way around it. As more coins enter the space and are created and have different uses or even copying uses, the total cap that Bitcoin represents of total should trend down, right? Should trend down. Doesn't mean it has to go to 0, but it should trend from 100 down because there's just more options, and before there were none. So in 2016-17, altcoins really started to gain market share. It's hard to see, but if we zoom in, we can see dominance started to dump a little bit. And it began to dump strongly in February 2017. Now, what's important about these times is that's roughly when the bull market began, the previous bull cycle. You can see we're probably just going to ignore the data before that for now, and we're going to focus on what happened in the last cycle. This is going to be a great educational piece for all of you awesome fans out there that decided to tune in today on a Friday on an off time. You guys rock. What we can see here is that Bitcoin dominance dropped very consistently. It made some dead cat bounces along the way. We see this in May and April of 2017. Bounced again, dropped, bounced again, dropped. And what is very telling or valuable about this chart here is on January 2018, Bitcoin dominance bottomed out. It hit its lowest value. Of course, we didn't know that at the time, but in hindsight, we can look at it and use this data. It bottomed out. It hit its lowest value on January 2018. Now, what's spicy about this is that was actually after Bitcoin hit 20,000, after its all-time high, because that happened in 2017. 2018 in January is actually when we saw altcoins run and have blow-off tops, and we saw things like Ethereum, Litecoin, XRP, you name it. That's when we saw those continue on after Bitcoin, unbeknownst to us, had already topped out. So what can we draw conclusion-wise just from this piece of data? Well, pretty much nothing here, because there were no other options. Once options existed, we can draw some conclusions. As Bitcoin dominance falls, it has, at least for the one cycle that we have history for, has marked bullish price moves. And this logically does make sense. As people invest in cryptocurrency, and when the market is doing well, and this is why it kind of goes against what we might expect right now, people's risk appetite, risk appetite's the word, increases. People become confident. They want a higher risk and a higher return. And so they leave Bitcoin, or instead simply just invest in something else, and that grows the other part of the total market cap, the non-Bitcoin part, and we see dominance drop. So this suggests that people are more risk on the more that dominance drops. They're looking for less stable return. They want a higher, more volatile return. So it bottomed out at the top of the bull market previously. From January 2018, we saw dominance, and just to remind you, this is on the weekly chart, so these each of these candles represents a week. And we saw Bitcoin dominance trend up into 2019. Into 2020, he said, hopefully. There we go. Let's stop it there. We saw Bitcoin dominance trend up. This makes sense. The market was spooked. We had entered a bear market, and the risk appetite that the investors had dried up. With everything falling down 99%, etc., people wanted to avoid that downside, and so they either left alts altogether or they moved into the more stable Bitcoin for a lesser risk appetite. And we saw that trend up until right here. Bitcoin dominance hit its high in December of 2020. If you can remember back, or if you were in the space then, but if you can't, I'm happy to explain it. December of 2020 is roughly the time that Bitcoin went back to 20K and tested its all-time high. From there, from that high, and yes, what's important here to me at least is that it is higher than the September high, slightly. So during this time, Bitcoin dominance was trending up. We hit a peak, and from 20K on, Bitcoin dominance absolutely shit itself. There's really no other way to put it. It fell right back down, and we were in a bull market again. Risk appetites expanded. People were looking for bigger return. So that brings us to today, and I didn't plan on talking about this that long, but that brings us to today and why this is so odd. Now, we saw it fall, and this doesn't look anything like the previous cycle, right? That might be explained by this is the second cycle with other coins really in play, and so maybe it won't look like the first, obviously. However, it doesn't appear to be following that same logic that we just mapped out and talked about kind of historically from 2016, 2017. Instead of, let's say, I guess here we could say in June 2020, it topped out. It didn't actually hit a higher high, but it rallied strongly. And for the last 15 weeks or so, we've seen it pretty much just trend down. Historically, we would say that means risk appetites are up. And in fact, we were speculating a break. This is a very big consolidation period. In fact, most of the bull run took place in this. We were speculating that by the peak of this cycle, we would see this low break, 39%, and we would see Bitcoin if we see the whole picture now, either test 2018's low, Bitcoin dominance, or break it and go lower. That's logical, as there's more projects than there were in 2018, right? There's more options. That's really what it comes down to, is how many options there are in risk appetite. But that never happened. We have been in a bear market, and I say that because I don't know why I'm doing air quotes. We've accepted, or people's sentiment pretty much has accepted, we're in a bear market for a while now. Some people pointing back to 2011, some people pointing to maybe May of 2022, and we haven't broken the low. So far we have a higher low, but in this week, we see the lows being tested again. It's been tested 1, 2, 3, 4 times, and it's falling sharply. So this might suggest that risk appetite is expanding, despite Bitcoin's price really not in a bullish spot, right? In general, people are still looking for lower lows. It is going against what we saw last time. This suggestion of risk appetite expansion doesn't line up with doesn't line up with the market conditions currently. I think that's the best way to put it. Here's what I'm keeping my eye on, and that is absolutely to break January 2022's low. If Bitcoin dominance breaks below 39.16, and you can see it's at 39.8 right now, it's not a big move, there will absolutely be spicy market moves. If we only depend on prior data, which actually got us caught up pretty hard in this cycle, we would say that would mean the bull run is likely back on. Likely. We don't see signs of that yet. We don't really see any signs of that. So that might not make sense. And I've gone through and talked through this whole thing because I wanted you guys to kind of get a background of what this chart is, what the value is, and what it represents. I can't tell you. If we break that low, is the bull run back on? I don't know. Maybe we would, potentially just alts rally. Maybe just alts dead cat bounce, or maybe Bitcoin just significantly drops and alts don't move at all. There's a lot of possible outcomes, and I don't think I'm going to pretend to have the answer. But I hopefully have given you a nice mapped out kind of history of Bitcoin dominance and its significance in the cryptocurrency market. And hopefully it wasn't too much rambling. So let's move on to the next big chart. There is another chart that we talk about all the time, and yes, I'm sick of it, you're sick of it. That's too much. We're all sick of it, but we have to look at it. And that's the dollar, the DXY. This is a representative strength of the dollar versus a basket of other 7 major currencies, and the most weighted of those being the euro. I believe in the last numbers I saw, a little bit over 50% of how the DXY is calculated is based on the euro versus the dollar. We've seen the euro break parity, go below 1, and we've even been speculating that if the dollar makes a upside move again, that we may see the dollar move to about 121 and euro down to about 85 cents. The reason being is that would match, I have to put it on another time frame, that would match really well with history. Really well with history. The dollar hit 121 in 2001. Euro bounced at about 85 cents in 2001. And that would almost be too good to be true, too easy, he said out loud as he talked about it. That would line up really well historically. And while that might have burned us a little bit in the crypto cycle over the last few years, Forex has a lot more history. Forex is definitely a more predictable market than the cryptocurrency market. We have things like the Fed, we have Congress, we have public actors or public facing things that can heavily influence what happens to these charts versus crypto, which really is fueled off of speculation at this point. Speculation with a dash of adoption. So this is going to be a much more predictable chart. At the moment, in September, we have broken last month's high slightly. I got a little nervous yesterday, I'll be honest with you guys. Got a little nervous yesterday. We have a higher high in September, and really the next resistance is that 2001 area, that 121. There's not much in the way. You can kind of imagine, though, I'll move over. You can kind of imagine, you see these highs coming down, that potentially this could be maybe a third high, and we won't go back to 121. At the moment, with no changes, that is not seeming likely. It's not seeming likely. We would have to see, in my opinion, the Fed get dovish, or at least less hawkish. We'd have to see the EU get a little hawkish, which we actually are, with 75 BPS hike coming, I believe, this month for the euro. If let's say the Fed during our FOMC meeting this month, instead of going with 100 or 75 BPS, goes with 50, we may see a little weakness here in the dollar. And honestly, that would be a breath of relief globally. The dollar going to 121 isn't necessarily a good thing. There's a lot of nuances to currency when it comes to imports, exports, and their impacts on the globe. But most specifically that I worry about, if say 121 breaks and we head back to 1985, or 1985's high at 165, this has huge implications that they span way beyond crypto. Like at that point, I wouldn't even be worried about crypto, in the sense of we would have bigger things to worry about. Up here, and potentially even just at 121, we can begin to see nations default on their debt. And that can create a cascading effect of liquidations. We've seen that actually in the crypto space even. We can argue when we broke 28K, that's around kind of the Celsius, 3 Hours Capital, etc. Liquidations on big scales tend to lead to more liquidations. If you've ever heard of a short squeeze, that's the same concept. When they begin to squeeze, price gets pushed higher, thus liquidating more shorts, and it's kind of a positive feedback loop until the market finds equilibrium. Finding equilibrium on a global scale is a frightening concept. It really could destroy lives all around the world. I'm not here. You guys know I'm permeable. I'm always positive on markets, but this is a very real scenario. Now we're not there yet at all. We're not there. A slightly higher high in September. We could easily see a bull trap. We could see a pivot of the Fed, a pivot of Congress. They could literally force inflation. They could print into existence more money. I have been on the side of that for a while, that they're going to be forced to print again, that the Fed is never really going to reach its goal. Despite all of the quantitative tightening and interest rate hikes that we've seen over the last year, the Fed is still very far away from reaching its goal. And that would be to combat inflation. To do that historically, the Fed's had to get interest rates within 2% of CPI data. That's simply not the case. At 50 or 75 BPS hikes, it would take 2-3 years to get there. If we look at the condition of stocks, the condition of equities, and even gold, we should look at gold today, everything is suffering from the dollar going up. Almost everything is trading inversely to the dollar. That is logical, as the dollar is the world's reserve. But you can kind of imply, you can use your imagination there, how that might be bad for everyone. If the dollar is too strong, and even right now, we're sitting with this potential large move to the upside, the current state of stocks and commodities are already pretty bad. We already had to redefine a recession simply to avoid, panic. Further upside move could really bankrupt a lot of people, and I don't want to see that happen, period. Even not related to crypto. Likely, not even likely, with high confidence we could say crypto will not be spared. It will not be an exception. That doesn't mean that Bitcoin's going to die or some kind of hyperbolic speech or something like that. But it certainly would suggest more downside, more pain in the markets. And we've already seen quite a lot, not just in crypto, but in stocks and everything. This is maybe the most important chart for any trader at this moment in time. Period. What is the dollar doing? I wanted to talk about it specifically today because since we streamed live last, we did break our high. Today is the weekly close for the dollar. And even intraday today, we have seen some spicy price action. When I woke up, this candle on the day had retraced almost all of its gains yesterday, and that gave me a great sense of relief. I was a little freaked out to see September open with so much strength in the dollar, and to see it retrace this morning, I was put a little bit at ease. Since then, since I got this wonderful haircut, it has now bounced back up and is close to where it opened again, making me a little uncomfortable again. Not quite as much as yesterday, but certainly warranted a little uncomfortableness seeing it bounce back up with so much strength. On the weekly time frame, we see the dollar closes in 3 hours 40 minutes, and that's looking like a pretty solid close. I mean, that's a pretty solid close, man. That is a nice bottom and top to wick weekly candle. Solid body in between, green. Now, 4 hours certainly is enough time for things to happen, but I believe it's highly unlikely that we see a catalyst like the Fed or Congress or the EU make any kind of game changers in the next 3 hours. It's Friday. They tend to do these things kind of like Monday or Tuesday, beginning of the week or mid-month. Highly unlikely to see big catalysts. And so the dollar, in my opinion, likely to close up this week right about where it is. There's plenty of time for that to change, but I think all logic would point to that, realistically. What I want to look at quick here before we move on. Somehow my indicators are gone. We've pointed this out a million times, but hey, you never know. There's always new people out there, and if that's you, welcome to our fam. Make sure you've subscribed and liked the stream. Jump in our Discord. Good to have you. I haven't seen any subscribers, but this thing has been broken forever, so I don't know. Never know if it's real, like if we didn't get any yet or not. If we take a look at the RSI on the weekly, and you're welcome to argue that you shouldn't look at RSI because this isn't technically traded, I would argue it is technically traded. It's just not traded under the name Dixie. It's traded via USD Euro. It's traded via USD Yuan, USD, whatever else is in there, Swiss francs. What else? I'm really pushing myself. I'm gonna stop there while I have it good. We see our highs are coming up, and our RSI highs down here are not. Now, this is something that we ignored, or I ignored, because I'm a perm bull on Bitcoin. Something I ignored on Bitcoin's chart. I will admit, not purposely, but I didn't really take it seriously. This is what we saw pretty much through 2021. We saw higher highs and we saw lower highs in RSI. This is also true down on the daily time frame. We see the same bearish divergence is what it's called. It's a little more exaggerated here. We can see RSI topped out April 29th, despite the price of the Dixie going up, making new highs. RSI did not. We saw that on Bitcoin. I ignored it. First they came for Bitcoin, I ignored it. Then they came for the dollar, and I said nothing. No, I don't know. We do have that in play, and I will preface that with one last kind of technical tidbit. It isn't there yet on the monthly. Yet, I say. Why do I say that? Because back here in 2015, we had a high of 99. We kind of consolidated there for 5 years. RSI came back down. If we pull this up and look closely, we can see that we are at a higher price on the Dixie, on the monthly, but we don't have a higher RSI yet. Now, I would not call that bearish divergence on the monthly at this point. The reason being is it's still trending up. We have a new high in September. So it's too early to say, hey, you have bearish divergence. What you would need to see is some kind of selling price action, some kind of downward pressure on the Dixie on a monthly time frame, and then you could say you might have bearish divergence on the monthly. That would be rough. That would be a rough situation for the dollar to be in. I'm definitely keeping a close eye on the monthly RSI for the Dixie. You could even kind of imagine if it does even make a little move up, maybe not quite to 121, and then starts to get faded, that would paint out bearish divergence on the monthly very cleanly. And that would pretty much confirm for me the weekly and daily divergences we see. That would be a very bearish sign. We're not there yet, but it's just something to look at. I'm not here to sell you one way or another on anything at all. I'm just here doing my analysis the way I see it, and hoping that you guys can take away some value from that. None of this is financial advice. Please don't blindly copy my trades. It's not a good idea. I don't recommend it. But we're just here to chill and chart, man. Chill and chart. I don't know where I was with the dollar. I think we're probably good. We have 28 days left in September. We have a slightly higher high, just as we did in August. What I'm afraid of is a very strong push to the upside on the dollar. Now, that could lead us into a blow off top. These are monthly candles. This is parabolic. This is as parabolic as currencies get. This is wild. This has been a long stretch of green. 16 months. Currencies don't tend to move like this. There are big factors at play pushing this. But if September settles up here, doesn't push higher, then there's really little to worry about. If it does push higher, things get very ugly. Extremely, extremely ugly. I don't think we've ever taken this long, actually, to get to the Bitcoin chart. Proud of myself. Proud of myself. I don't know. This is like the longest we've done other topics, I think. I want to look quickly at gold. I won't go nearly as in-depth as I did in dominance and Dixie. If we take a look at the gold chart, we can see this is also being impacted by the dollar strength. There's a very I believe, in my opinion, there is a very visible correlation to the dollar moving up and gold moving down. Now, what's worrying to me, and this is like where that cascading liquidation kind of fear comes from, is look at this weekly chart. This is really bad looking. We have a high, we have a lower high, and now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tests of this support at about 1680. The more you test resistance or support, the weaker it becomes. If gold were to break 1680 and make a significant move to the downside, that would likely, if this is, hypothetical, that would likely coincide with what we were talking about on the dollar, a dollar breaking out, moving to 121. We could see gold really suffer. I would worry that gold suffering so hard would be a liquidating cascade of itself. Over 10 years of time, gold is exactly where it was. I believe that's a direct result of the strength of the dollar at the moment. I pray it doesn't break to the downside. If it does, things probably are very bad, we'll know. But I would look for some kind of support down here that was built in 2019, and that's in like the 1450 range. That would be pretty significant for gold. However, it wouldn't ruin its macro chart. If we zoom out far enough, we see gold is pretty parabolic, though not in human time. Parabolic in kind of infinity time. It does tend to trend up slowly. It did have an epic run where it moved 500% over about a decade. Interesting fact, let me point to the chart right here. Does anyone know what happened right here? 2004. Gold had reached a high in 1978, consolidated, dumped. You know what? This looks remarkably like the Bitcoin. Wow, I just had my mind blown a little bit here. I've never noticed this, but that looks remarkably like 2018 for Bitcoin's chart. With the blow off top, probably a 618 retracement rejection, and that like consolidation here for a very long period of time. This would be like 6K before dropping. And here's what caught my eye. This bottoming here where it fell from 400 to 251. That would be the equivalent of Bitcoin falling from 6K to 3K. Look at that pattern. Look at this reversal. It looks remarkably like the Bitcoin bottom in Q4 2018. Weird. I don't know. I'm not going to draw any conclusions on that, but I never noticed how similar this actually looks. Now, that's a much bigger span of time than Bitcoin, but that's odd. Never really noticed that. Back to my question. Does anyone know what happened right here in 2004? Gold had reached back to its consolidation period, back to that 300, 400 range, and there was a catalyst. After that catalyst went live, gold trended up pretty much just up with very few pullbacks. Actually looks like crypto on a longer time scale. Very few pullbacks. There was something there. I wonder if anyone knows what it is. I'm looking. Is this stream pre-recorded, Cisco Kid? They're never pre-recorded, my friend. I was just getting my rants out in the beginning. It's good to have you here. We got 266 votes. How many likes? We have 135 likes. Guys, hype the stream. Hype it up. Vampire chart. What's up, in my hero? Vanessa, the beautiful Vanessa. It's good to have you. They didn't start paper trading gold around then. Didn't they start? That may be true, actually. I don't know off the top of my head. That wasn't what I was looking for. Looks like gold wants a very long retracement. I'm not going to lie. What's going on here locally looks like garbage. Aliens stole half the gold, Tommy V, in 2004. Exactly. That's what I wanted to point out. No, what happened in 2004 for gold, then that it then went on a 10-year green streak, was a spot ETF for gold started. It sounds odd to me. Maybe I'm dating myself. It feels like that would have happened way long ago, but the first spot ETF for gold started in 2004. After that, it had 10 years of green. What's interesting, and I would say maybe even, we are looking for a spot ETF for Bitcoin, maybe even foreshadowing for the future of that is a spot ETF could be a catalyst for a extended run on Bitcoin. Look what happened though. This likely, in my opinion, would happen with Bitcoin as well. after that extended run, it would hit a high, have a very long, grueling retracement just to move back up. And who knows what happens here? It looks awful today. That can change with policy kind of overnight. That might be our future. The good news is we would have a good amount of time. You know, if it's 10 years in gold, who knows? It could be 10 years for Bitcoin, but it could also, you know, be only a few years. I have no idea. Could be a good thing if we're, you know, you're already in. They don't have the spot ETF. It could suggest a prolonged period of rallying. But I don't think this is escapable. You know, I think that all charts have to expand and contract, and I don't think Bitcoin is any exception to that rule. What's up, Joshua Tree? Thanks for holding it down, brother. It's Friday. Happy Friday, everybody. Hope you're having a good one. I'm just feeling spicy. Edgar Para, knowing exactly why I'm feeling spicy. It's not just the haircut, I lied. The US was the Mr. Vesemir, honored OG of this channel. The US was the first with a gold ETF. It's last when it comes to Bitcoin. Isn't that funny? Funny. First with gold, last with Bitcoin. I mean, that's a little exaggeration, but like it's spot on. They're certainly not first with Bitcoin. Canada has multiple spot ETFs. I should have clarified that. US spot ETF. And, you know, not everyone's from the US, and they have valid arguments of saying, why does it matter? I don't want to get into it. I think you have a point, but reality, I think, would favor that it does matter when the US gets into it. Whew. Good luck, gold. Good luck. Gold also had that bearish divergence set up on the weekly. Maybe not good. Set your alerts. This is what I can tell you with full confidence. Absolutely. Set an alert on gold if you're a trader just under this support level. I would say I just set mine for 1674. That's probably a fine number. Things will be ugly. We'll probably already know. It'll probably already be ugly, but things will get very ugly if gold breaks below. That is my prediction. And it is my hope that that doesn't happen. My true hope that that does not happen. Let's save this chart and get rid of it. And finally, man, we can talk about Bitcoin a little bit. What we were looking at last stream, I believe that was August 29th. We haven't moved. We haven't really moved. Let's just like hide everything. We have really been consolidating between 20,006 and a low of 19.5. Not a lot has changed there. Not a lot of change. One thing I do like is we have seen the dollar break its monthly high of last month, setting yet again another 2-decade high. Something I do like about Bitcoin's chart right now is dollar new high this month. However, Bitcoin has not at this point broken August low. Now, it's absolutely possible. This month just started. But we have had 3 months closed of higher lows and higher highs. So my eye absolutely on Bitcoin set right here. It is showing some strength by not breaking last month's low, while the DXY broke its last month's high, or decade's high, record high, whatever. That's some strength. We did get the close we were looking for since last stream. On August, we were praying for a close above, I'll just call it 20K. It happened. It wasn't by a large margin. It settled up at 20,050. I think that's like the fraction of a percent higher. However, it did. Thankfully. It would have been an extremely bearish signal for this to close even just a little lower. The reason being is August or July had some retracement, some upside. It closed. We broke the high. We fell back down. We broke our monthly support, but that was all intra-month. By the end of the month, traders and investors settled back up slightly higher, and what that shows us is that they rejected the bearish engulfing monthly candle. While that is not a moon statement, that doesn't mean all-time high now, moon now, it does reflect what I was just saying about DXY and Bitcoin in these 2 days. It is showing some strength. It is showing that there are bulls out there still fighting. Unfortunately, it's not super exciting. It's not a super exciting thing. It's like the best of the worst outcomes. We are in September, and we have 28 days left. September closes Q3. of 2022. I know we have only 4 months left of this year, and good riddance. I say good riddance to 2022's. Big middle finger. Done. Not for me. Pass. Our quarterly candle, though, as you can see, kind of odd. Kind of odd. It's traded up. It's traded down. But really, it's just where it started 2 months ago. This candle body is very, very thin. In fact, if we zoom out, you almost can't see the candle body. There have not been many examples of this. Perhaps, possibly, we can say kind of like January 2019. If we see September close a little higher, maybe. That might be a reach, but maybe. It does structurally look pretty similar. Maybe we'll see some kind of 2019 rally event. But we don't tend to see, with the exception of this freaking cursed year in 2020, we don't tend to see these thin quarterly candles. And that makes sense because an asset trading at a price 90 days later typically isn't trading at the same price, right? I do expect some volatility into the end of September with 28 days. Obviously, I'm rooting for the upside. Obviously. But I'm hard-pressed to think that it's going to close here, to be honest. When it does, we'll have our last quarter of 2022, and we're going to find out just what this Bitcoin yearly candle looks like after 12 months of pain, probably. I have my bets on Bitcoin closing above 28.8. Now, with every day that passes, that's looking less likely, I can admit. However, I am looking for it for a specific reason. We talked about on the monthly Bitcoin, we wanted it to close above 20K for August, and we got it because we wanted to avoid a bearish engulfed monthly candle. This would be even bigger than that, obviously, as this is 12 months or a year. Bitcoin is currently trading lower than the last year's open. Now, this has never happened in Bitcoin history. Wait. Yeah, this isn't all day. This is Coinbase. If you look at BLX, which I guess I'll pull up because now I have to. This has never happened. Whoa, got a lot on there. Never happened. Crickets as he scrambles to get the charts up. Looking back, it's never happened. We've only actually had 2 even red years in Bitcoin history, all the way back to 2010. We've had only green with the exception of 2018 and 2014, but we can see that this is nowhere near that. In 2013, it went from $12 to $700, well, more than that, but it closed at $750. It fell to $313 in that year. Not even close. Same thing, 2018, rallied from $900 to closed at $13.8. Fell, closed at $3,007. Never happened before. We have never seen a yearly red candle bearish engulf, period. At the moment, it is bearish engulfed, and that by itself is a first. We've never even seen it intra-year. To close bearish engulfed doesn't necessarily mean the end of days for Bitcoin or something, but it's an extremely bearish sign, and it would be a very unique first for Bitcoin. It is already in a unique first just by being here, but my bet is that we will see it settle up the yearly above 28.8, maybe just on the nose. Who knows? I might be wrong. We might see it close bearish engulf. I'm not sure if that would actually matter going forward, but that would be a very heavy bearish sign that Bitcoin didn't just retrace, it retraced all and more of the gains it made in the previous year. Something to keep an eye on. With 30 days and 3 months to go, we have plenty of time for anything to happen. Plenty of time for anything. Let's see. Down to the week, Bitcoin's still looking like crap, holding on to July's low ever so slightly, August's low ever so slightly. If I put these lines back in the chart, I did mark August's low. It's going to be hard to see, and this certainly doesn't need to be here on the weekly. You know what? Neither does this green. Let's make this a lot easier to see. There you go. I did mark August low, and that is 19,513. And you can see we have not breached it. We have not breached it in this weekly candle. We have gotten very, very close, and this weekly candle looks like hot garbage. Not a very bullish close here. Not a very bullish looking close. We're below the 200 weekly, but we have not yet invalidated August's low. So actually, I don't have it on my, I guess it might have already triggered text. Let's make this a little bigger. Boom. August low. I'm going to put an alert. And I highly recommend that you guys put the same alert on your charts. Not financial advice. Maybe I should include the word low. I'm going to put Bitcoin August 2022 low broken. And I'm going to put it at just under 19.513.47. 19.513.44. Boom. Create done. I hope that never goes off. To be honest, I hope that alert never goes off. I don't know how lucky I'm feeling about that. But that'll be the tip off. That'll be an early warning that we got more downside to come. That break the pattern. We may then look for some kind of Wyckoff distribution pattern to play. You could do like this. Or heck, maybe just go straight down, right? Nobody knows. Nobody knows. But we are on Friday. Market Cipher B. Shout out to Market Cipher. Not looking so hot. RSI chilling around the most oversold it's ever been on the weekly time frame. And momentum. Honestly, this sucks, but very much reminiscent of March, April. We had exactly three weeks of increasing buying momentum before it started waning off and led to a sell-off. Looking remarkably similar, and price action not so favorable. Not so favorable during that time. Let's see. This right here. Not so favorable. Let me see if I can bars pattern. I hate how well everything lines up. I hate it. I just copied the bars. Copying bars and applying them to the future is something I like doing as an exercise. I think it helps keep your mind moving. But it certainly is nothing that you should trade off of. But I definitely hate how well it lines up with our macro values. Not a big fan of that. 17.2 was 2018's high. And that's where we were looking before 28K broke. We were saying these are our logical supports below us, 17.2, 13.8, and 10.7. I don't like how well that lines up, especially because it taps May's low, falls below 17.2, back tests it as resistance, and falls directly to 10.7. Now, this doesn't mean that's going to happen. And in fact, we could even almost say, we almost know it won't happen exactly like this because nothing ever repeats perfectly. But man, does that not make me feel comfortable. Like, that is uncomfortable as anything. I don't know where the bottom is. No one knows where the bottom is. Many people will tell you they do. There's many voices out there. Some of them will be correct in hindsight, and they will likely claim they knew, but they didn't know. They only knew because they were proven right over time. The bottom and top is unknowable. There's just lots of guesses. If there's a million guesses on a chart that's traded to 69,000, odds are many of them are going to be correct, right? But they're all just guesses. None of them knew in the moment. Be careful. There's going to be a lot of people that are going to say they called the bottom, called the top. Sure they did. But was that their one call ever and they never made any other calls? No, probably they revised their statements and eventually were right. Yeah, be careful. Going to be a lot of those. There always is. Now, Market Cipher on the daily is looking decent. I don't like this money flow rolling over, but VWAP is still up. Last time we streamed, we were actually back here, and I said, this looks pretty bullish short term. What we see. Because we had momentum. It didn't pinch yet, I believe, in the last stream, but momentum was looking to pinch. VWAP over here was... I need to get rid of that plus button. VWAP over here was trending up, and money flow had just kind of skipped like a rock over water into negative or into the red zone. And we said, this actually looks very much like it wants to go back to positive money flow. It did happen. And it's still looking decent. We haven't seen momentum break August's low here by moving higher. That would be a good signal that we're looking for a move up. I'm not a huge fan now. I'm not a huge fan of the rounding here of this money flow. I know it's probably hard to see the yellow on green, but just as it was rounded and shallow, we may see a rounded and shallow positive money flow, and then that would suggest dump. That would not be good. So I want to see VWAP continue to trend up, and I want to see momentum really reach for positive, up to the positive area, and then I'll be looking for a bounce. RSI, not a lot going on there for the day. No divergence. We have lower lows in price, and we have lower lows in RSI. MACD, interesting. Interesting. MACD showing potentially we've been waning momentum for 10 days. Bears took control August 17th. Selling momentum continued to accelerate. It reached its apex for now, August 22nd, and began waning off. So bears showing some signs of exhaustion on the daily time frame according to MACD. Still not in positive territory, but that's a pretty smooth line. And many times, like we see back here, as that wanes off, we do see some kind of bounces. We do see buying pressure come in. I'm not super confident or hopeful. Not super confident or hopeful on that, but it is something. I'll take it. Interesting, on the day, you can see right where that 19.5, right, August low is, there is what I would say it could be accurately called a bear flag. You have a flat bottom, you have your lows coming down, you have price consolidating after a drop. You could say that's a bear flag for sure. Bear flags typically suggest downside price action, right? I will preface, or I will caution you guys with, no matter what happens, no matter where the bottom is, I don't know where it is, but no matter where the bottom ends up being, it will end in a bearish looking pattern. So it will end in a bear flag that just doesn't break down, it breaks up. The bottom will never look like a bottom. It'll only look like a bottom after you break to the upside, and it's too late. That is an ugly chart. I do like, though, that it hasn't kind of just like fallen off the face of the earth like it did back in May. It had a high, a lower high, and then just very quickly, very violently, over the course of 12 days, dumped from 32,000 to 17,500. That's a savage dump. Giggity. It's almost a 50% drop, right? I don't know why it's not showing me. What the hell? What the hell, tool? You guys see that? It's showing me the upside gain, but it's not showing me the downside loss. I don't get it. Screw you, chart. You gonna make me do it this way? There we go. Look at that. I just tricked TradingView. I'm smarter than TradingView. 45% dump. Pretty close to the 50%-ish we saw on Bitcoin from 6K to 3K. Pretty similar. I'm smarter than you, TradingView. Wah. Where to go next? Where to go next? Chart definitely looks ugly, but we have our supports below us, and actually something that does need to be taken into consideration is we have now spent 76 days, and it might be off a little bit here because I did that really roughly, within a margin of error of 76 days, not breaking that low. That's actually pretty interesting. Now, that did happen back here as well. Let's see how long that took. 105 days from January to May 2020. Our dump here, 30 days, so only a month. Now it's 77, almost roughly twice as long as this. I will kind of speculate that this breaks the pattern of, I will describe it as long consolidation, dump. Short consolidation, bigger dump. Now we're no longer in a shorter consolidation. It's not getting more violent. If it was following this pattern specifically, we would have expected maybe 15 days and a dump. But we didn't get that. So that's a good thing. Doesn't mean the bottom's in. But it's nice to see a little bit of divergence. And every day that passes that doesn't break the low in June, in my opinion, well, no, not even my opinion. Every day that passes that we don't break it is more suggestive of the bottom being in. No other way around it. Doesn't determine that the bottom's in, but it's suggestive. Let's get to some low time frames. This is our chart from last time. We probably should have pulled up a new chart, but I'm feeling lazy. It's Friday. Cut me a break. We identified this, let's see, from August 15th's highs, we identified this ascending trend. This ascending trend has been very much in play. Let's see. When did it break? Yesterday, towards the end of the day. Very much in play. It was a huge fan of it. Rarely do you see this closeness. Yeah, I'm sick of this thing. Let's get rid of a bunch of these lines. Very rarely do you see price interact with a trend line this much, like this closely for this long. Like, it's just unusual. 1, 2, 3, 4, I don't even know, like 10 tests. Didn't break lower though. That's what kind of held on to the goodness there. Didn't break lower on the low, pushed through the trend, and now we are back at that trend line. It is really a big fan of this trend line, man. It back tested it, which usually is a nice bump and run setup, which typically is bullish. We're on the 15-minute, so a nice bullish setup doesn't necessarily mean return to any kind of high, but you typically see a little bit more follow through on a bump and run. Didn't happen. Didn't happen. And now price has returned to, again, this freaking trend line. Bounced it. Bounced it. We're on the 15-minute. Let's go to the 5. Bounced it again. Ta-da. Wow, it is a big fan of that line. For the sake of this live stream, I'm going to put alerts just under our low earlier today. And I'll put it above here. Just so if we're looking at something else, I'll still know. I'll still be able to keep an eye on it. Oh no. Oh no. My Stream Deck. I hope it still works. Oh well. Let's take a look just at the 5:15, then I'm going to get into the chat. Sorry guys, you guys, I mean, if you've been here, you know, I'm ADD. I can only do one thing at a time. I'm not ignoring you. I'll read the chat here in a second. Let me just get a good grip of what's going on right now. 5 minutes slightly lower. Higher low on money flow, not bad. Ooh, 15-minute this is spicy. Momentum making higher highs. Money flow not making lower lows. VWAP moving back up. 15-minute and 5-minute to me are suggesting some kind of upside retracement, possibly during this live stream. Doesn't mean we have to get very far. Actually, let's get a new chart up here. Let's get a new chart. This is not a new chart either. Let's leave that line. I like that line. I'm gonna get rid of everything else. Okay. Maybe we can do it this way, yeah. 5-minute, 15-minute. I would say probably looking for a 618 retracement. That might only put us back at 20,017. It's not super exciting. Actually, let's look at the measured move. We're very zoomed in, everyone. Measured move, kind of looking back to this high. Didn't line up well, but I'll take it. Looking probable, at least from what I'm seeing on these lower time frames. Let's go into the 30. 30 not quite as bullish, unfortunately. 45 a little bit more. Janky. I'm seeing this, though. I'm seeing some kind of upside bias on these lower time frames. Maybe like the 4 hour. 4 hour looks like garbage. Bulls have not really been able to grab the market in some time here on the 4 hour since August 17th. Money flow trending back down. Broke it slow on the 4. 4 hours not pointing up. 6 might be, but it's ugly. It's ugly. Ooh, but the 12. All right, here's the one of the only bullish things that I see, and we caught this a while ago. We're still waiting for it to play out. 12 hour. We have what Jason Casper calls uneven butt cheeks. We have a low and a higher low on our momentum. I don't know. I just like the name of it. It's funny. Uneven butt cheeks. I just like saying butt and having an excuse. On top of that, we have a higher low right here in money flow. We reached a low. This low didn't break it. And typically when that happens, with that alone, we look for it to roll over. I say you couple that with the uneven butt cheeks pattern. You can even see it faked out here for a little bit. I think the odds of the 12 hour looking for upside is good. Is actually pretty good. I think I can't say I'll like confirm it because I guess we really never can confirm anything. There's no 100%. I can confirm it when or if we see momentum break our low back here. So it would look something like this. Once it's right here, then it's broken. Yeah, it's possible it could fall back down again, whatever. But that's two signals that I have high confidence in and I've seen play out really well. Not even to mention, we have 2 green dots on market cipher. In general, that doesn't mean the bottom's in on any time frame, but in general, these dots do mark some kind of, if local only bottom. Maybe, just maybe. We didn't really get a retracement here. I wonder. Yeah. I think the 12-hour is going to look for this. Now, obviously, if that alert goes off that we set earlier, August low broke, and we're probably going to see price hightail it down to the low. Pretty easy. Maybe even to 17.2. But the 12-hour, this sets you up to be able to make a really solid trade. So this is not financial advice. I might take this trade. I haven't decided. Not financial advice. Please don't just blindly copy my trades. It does not end well. You will not succeed. I think there's actually 2 pretty logical trades that can be taken here. Looking just below to stop, just below August low. Can look to stop. And we might play this back to our 618 retracement. Though we were looking for that here and it didn't happen. That could again happen here. But typically, to make good trades, we use this logic a lot, we use this reasoning a lot. This is an area of resistance, 23.3. We were looking for a test of it earlier. Our 618, we could potentially look to take a position and close it 22.8. If it gets stopped out, it gets stopped out. Not financial advice. I might make this trade with just like a tiny amount of money. Maybe. It's tempting. I like the closeness. I like the closeness that you can take. Could something like this happen? Absolutely. This is trading. In fact, it happens a lot. But if you were to play this trade over and over and over again in some magical, I don't know, magical scenario where you could do that, probability would side with you and you would be profitable at some point. Anyway, let's get into the chat. I think that's pretty good for today. I think that's pretty good. Nice. I was worried that my Stream Deck stopped working. And it always stops working. Like, I can't hit my little buttons. But I actually started something new on it, and it allows me to timestamp it while I'm live, which I've never been able to do. I've had to actually go back and scrub the footage manually to add timestamps. So anyone who's ever used a timestamp on a live stream, you're welcome. But now it doesn't. It'll record them automatically. And I was worried that that was going to stop working with the buttons, because the buttons don't work for me to send messages right now. But the timestamps did not stop working. Excellent. Excellent news. Right on. I like corn. All right, Dennis, Bera, I'm reading the chat. I'm back. Bitcoin, we have tight alerts set, so we can kind of stray away from this chart again. You know, I didn't even talk about my baby Litecoin. Didn't even talk about it. But I want to read the chat for a little bit, so I'm going to avoid looking at it right now. But we will look at Litecoin today, I promise. You guys know I never give up an opportunity to... Never give up an opportunity to talk about Litecoin. Come on now. William S. looking for higher on Dixie. It is looking reality. It is looking reality, man. Today, equity short covering on the open. Now no buyers. What's the deal with the rookie numbers? We need more likes. Do we have rookie numbers? Guys, we have 220 likes. And the reason is my fault. I've been in the zone doing analysis, just looking at charts, explaining stuff. I haven't been interacting with you guys much. We have 400 viewers. At least that's what it says on my side. We have 230 likes. On this channel, it is our goal every day to get 420 likes while we're live. Why? Because 420 is a great number. We say it's to keep our 420 license. If we don't get 420 likes, they take our 420 license for the day. And I don't want to lose it. We have enough people here to have 420 likes right now. If you just pick up your hand, put it on the mouse, hover over that little thumbs up and click it. Just one click. We could do that in this minute if we all put our efforts together. We do it day in and day out. We will not quit until we get there. I need my 420 license. It's the weekend. It's the weekend. What's up, Joe Chow? Dennis Barra, you need your license today? Exactly. Exactly, son. It's Friday. You would not deny a man his 420 license on a Friday, dude. That's effed up. It's effed up. It's effed up. You know what? And we'll sweeten the pot here. If we get 420 likes on the stream, I forgot last time, we're gonna do our membership giveaway, where I'll use the YouTube thingy and it'll randomly give 5 people the little green memberships for the channel. So let's hype it up. Let's hype it up. Get it going. We can do it. I believe in all of you. We have 420 votes on our poll. Some people in here riding on the coattails of others, voting in polls, not hitting the like button. I'm just playing. It is funny though, because we have almost exactly, now it just clicked up. We had exactly 420 votes on the poll when I looked at it. See, you guys proved it's possible. 52% of us think Dixie is going higher. Usually we like to say, like, the herd is wrong. I'm like, at this moment, I'm in that camp. I'm in that camp. 24% thinks it rejects here. Absolutely possible. 23% like corn. And I respect that. As a fellow corn lover, I respect that. Fridays for Coca-Cola, says Michael Waldrop. Gotcha. Emma D, horrible man. Exactly. Exactly. Think of the women. Think of the women and not the children, necessarily, unless prescribed medically. Under a doctor's supervision. Think of the children and the women. They need the 420 license. Jesse M. Spam it away. Pump the stream, Alex S. Good to see you, brother. You liked, thank you, Snuff. Snuff McLeod. I like that name. World Finances. 420 is a high number. Yeah, this guy gets it. This guy gets it. Bearded Day. You don't have to time people out, man. Oh, he spammed it a bunch in a row. It's okay. We don't mind spamming here. Honestly, unless it's like shilly spam or scammy spam. Honestly, YouTube, it's all engagement in YouTube's eyes. So type it up, chat, during the stream. Nice video. Thank you, Young Star Trade. Thanks for being here, my friend. You were supposed to get a green membership from last time, says Matthew. I don't know. I don't choose who gets them. YouTube does. We got some beautiful, wonderful, intelligent ladies here. Got Emma and Vanessa. Probably more, likely. Yo, Robbie1. How you doing, brother? Sebi98. William S. I appreciate that, man. Tom is a live stream master. Live stream master fight. Spam is gross. Yeah, I don't think I've actually ever eaten spam in my life. I've seen it. Ganja God, I like that. David Svetlik, one of our winners, he says 420. Friday, let's go. I agree with him. NBF Forum, what's up, man? I like the shade emojis. With your membership, you get literally just these emojis, and your name turns green. But hey, you don't have to pay for it if we get 420 likes, so I think that's a pretty good deal. 316. With the viewers going down, maybe we should get into some more content. I'll check back in on the 420s then. Ron, what's up? Raul San Miguel, what's up to you, my friend? Chillin', it's Friday. Cheers. It's Friday. Friday, baby. We did, no, my thing is still saying, check this out. You can see it, right? I'm so visually confused. Yeah, you can't see it. I have to move my head. You can't see it, but it is saying no one has subscribed during this live. I think that's a fib. Can someone out there who isn't subscribed, and if you are subscribed, it won't work, but if you aren't subscribed, can someone out there subscribe so we can determine if this is lying to us? Also, bonus, you'll get a shout out from me. I find it hard to believe with like 400 viewers that no one new subscribed. It's impossible. Resubbing I don't think works. But you seem to block me. Preston Collins, I don't block you. Zakir Ahmed. Zakir, what's up, dude? That reminded me of like when I was a kid. It's like 14F Cali. I'm 14F Cali, bro. You? ASL, question mark? God, I'm dating myself. Big hands, little spoon. What's Gucci, man? Hawaiian place. Okay. I'll try it. I'm not against trying it. AOL chat. This is now an AOL chat room. Hype it up. ASL. ASL. I'm weird. Yeah, I'm my hero. When you unsubscribe and resub, I don't think it works. I don't think it like actually like registers it. So if there's anyone out there that isn't subbed, for science, bro. What's up, Bob Saget? Honey, spam, and eggs. I don't know. It sounds okay. Honey seems like bad in that combo, but that's just my opinion. Monero for the win. I love Monero, man. Monero, one of my top favorite coins. You're already subbed. Then Lifts and Latte is a great name. Then you've already done your part. Don't worry. You've already done your part. I do want to look at Litecoin today. I will make it not super long. Litecoin. This is the chart of Litecoin's value versus the chart of Bitcoin's value. Something some of you may not be familiar with. It isn't really something this cycle that was, I don't know, communicated to new retailer investors. It wasn't talked about much. We talked about it, but at some point I broke down and just started doing USD because everybody would request USD and I didn't want to fight it. Back in the day, if you are a crypto OG, you know what this is. At one point, this is all we looked at. We only traded BTC pairs. We didn't have USD pairs. So while Litecoin right now not doing mega hot, I think in dollars, although definitely better than Bitcoin. Here it is in dollars. It's actually bullish engulfed on the monthly today. That's definitely more bullish than Bitcoin. We can see that via the BTC pair. Let's see about the daily. 3 days of green. Okay. Nothing we couldn't have told by this. You can see that this has been a painful chart. This hit its high. We'll say it hit its high in 2018. Really, it was like in 2016. It was like one of the only coins traded back then. It actually trades all the way back to 2014. So Litecoin, one of the first disruptors of Bitcoin dominance, if you were here at the beginning. This has been a long, miserable trek, and it's so much so that literally altcoin, everybody, all the other influencers in the space give me slack. I'll say it. They give me shit for it. I don't care because what they think doesn't matter. I made a video about that. I love them, but what other people think of your investments doesn't matter. It doesn't make them less or more likely to do well or worse. This has been brutal. It's traded down 93% against Bitcoin, but it is now catching my eye. It actually caught my eye earlier, and I've shared this with you, but I was waiting for something to happen, and it's finally looking like it's happening. Litecoin's value versus Bitcoin hit its lowest point ever, its all-time low, in the 13th of June this year. That's this V shape right here. Coincidentally or not, that's also when Bitcoin hit its low, actually a day before. Spicy. So, okay, today I learned. I thought that was the same day. Actually, Bitcoin then hit its all-time, its low in June, the next day. So Litecoin, in a way, led this. Wait, did I just mess up time that bad? 17th, 13th. Okay, no, significantly led. Let's say it that way. Significantly led. For some reason, I thought 13 and 18 were like the same number. Significantly led the drop, hitting its all-time low. It bounced very strongly. This caught my eye. Immediately, this caught my eye because I've been watching it forever. That we had a V-shaped bottom. V-shaped bottoms are very strong reversals. Very strong reversal signals. We don't get them very often in crypto, honestly. I argue maybe it's too easy or something. This was very eye-catching. It can be signaling of capitulation. It can be signaling of really sellers just being out of fuel. In crypto, to be a seller, you have to have the coins, right? Well, the problem with selling your coins is eventually you've sold them all and you can no longer sell. And in order to sell, you have to buy more. So what we saw is Bitcoin bottomed out. Actually, I wonder how that compares. Litecoin hit a high there off of the low when Bitcoin bottomed out. It began consolidating very tightly. I liked that because looking back again to the rest of the history, it doesn't really have anything that looks like this. At least, certainly not in. I want to say this, and don't get hopiumed. But like, this is really the only kind of similar thing, like a V-shaped bottom. That's it. All of these other dumps, I was really watching this too, because this actually looks similar. It did this. That's what I was watching for like the last few years for Litecoin to bottom out. But these other dumps it's had really don't have that same structure. This is a much more rounded bottom here. This isn't that hit the lowest point, wick up, and then like almost rubber band back in the other direction. This caught my eye. I didn't want to go on too long, but here's why I'm somewhat excited. One, I like Litecoin, just the way I like corn. But it's broken July's high. And it is continuing to the upside. Today, it has gained, just today alone, 7% against Bitcoin. The day before, a clean 7% against Bitcoin. Interesting. Back to back. What I'm watching. So it is time to get a little hype, but it's not time to get super hype yet. I've drawn this box a long time ago. This is likely the zone of resistance for this pair. This was where it found support. It went higher. It can just stayed up there for a very long time. It bled all the way back down. It found a little support there, but sold off below. Rejected. Hit its all-time low. And now it's right back in this box. So you can see I have an alert set here. I might even set another one. That's just going to be like LFG. LFG LTC fam. I'm looking for 00318 above that. 185 above that. Doesn't guarantee it's going straight up or something. We could see price action play out like this. Something like that. But once you break through this 003-ish resistance, you really do get set up for some strong moves. There's definitely one in between those that I would look for first. It's like 5.5. Yeah, like 5.5. Let's do it that way. But once you break through it, even though we don't really know what path it will take, you start getting upside targets. You start getting them. My upside targets, and I don't even plan on taking profit of these, but these are likely areas of further resistance. You have pretty much 0045, 0055, and you have like 008, and then you get some big boys. You get some big boys. If we're just looking at the retracement, this is what I got shit for on Altcoin Daily Show. And when I say that, I mean loving shit. They love me. I love them. They're good dudes. So are all the people that make fun of me for Litecoin. They do it because it's like, yeah, we're just razzing. I make fun of them for other stuff because they're shitcoiners. Even if we're just looking for a retracement from our high, let's hypothetically say it never returns to its all-time high, okay? That'll appease some haters out there. Even if it only returns to its 618 retracement, at this point, that would bring it to 009. And from where we are right now, that's a 3x. That's a 3x against Bitcoin. So what that means is if you, not financial advice, please don't do this, it's an example, but if you were to buy 1 Bitcoin worth of Litecoin right here, right now, today, again, not financial advice, not suggesting you do this, it's just an example for learning purposes, and then it does magically rocket straight up, you bought one right here, it goes all the way up to that 618 instantly, again, magical, not real scenario, you would now have 3 Bitcoin worth of value in that bag. That doesn't necessarily mean it's worth more dollars at all. Typically it does, but it doesn't guarantee that. But what it does guarantee is that you've gained value against Bitcoin, you've outpaced it. It's looking pretty damn good. And honestly, with how much people hate this coin, it's a good setup. It's a good setup. I managed to knock off some buys. Actually, now looking back, feeling much better about those buys. I did manage to get some limit buys in around 0018. I was waiting for what? Whoa, 0015. I was waiting down here to make a bigger purchase, but it never came. But maybe it will. Just because it looks good here. It still hasn't broken resistance. It could still do. You know what? It could still do something like that. And you know what would be interesting about that? full circle knowledge here, and then we're going to move on, is that would end up looking, again, like what I said earlier, what I was looking for to be the bottom for Litecoin. That's pretty spicy. That's pretty spicy. Those are very similar. Very similar. That'd be spicy AF. But we don't know the future. We don't know. The bottom could be in. The bottom could not be in. Either way, this is really the only coin moving right now, like today, in any significant capacity. And so I just want to take a moment to celebrate Litecoin, because we've had 5 years to be miserable about it. So cheers. Cheers to my Litecoin fam. I did make some changes to our live stream trade. And I always, as you guys know, I always share with you my changes. I am trading on Femex right now. This is the Femex exchange you have in front of you. I trade on it every day. I can't send the link. The links are in the video description below. We are sponsored by Femex and Bybit and Market Cipher because we're bosses and we rake that money in. I trade on them every day. I did change out my trade a little bit. I got a little... Let's see what I did. I modified our buy orders. So we are currently short. We are still short. We've taken profit on that short. It's still at 61% profit for what we still have open. We've realized almost as much profit as we have unrealized. So if you kind of like use your mind, you could say maybe this trade's about 120% profit, but doesn't matter. With the dollar's moves yesterday, I got a little more shy, a little more conservative. This order used to be much bigger. 13.9 used to be 100 contracts. I changed that to 41. That's really kind of random. It's just because we have 141 contracts open. And so when that hit, if it hits, we'll just have 100. And then 10,900. These are the values we looked at earlier in the stream. If that hits, then it will be net long. We'll have a hefty profit. We'll be net long, and I guess praying that it doesn't go lower, really, at that point. But so far, so good. And you'll also notice I removed some orders up here. So, in my opinion, the longer that we range here in this zone, the less I'm really going to want to jump at any given move. When we were very tightly consolidating and looking just like a crappy bear flag, I wanted to catch pretty much any upside price action so I could add to our short. And we did that many times. If we look at our fills, we did that many times. You can see 22.7, 23,000, 23.5, 24,000, 24.4, 24.5. And then we started closing pieces of the position on the way down. 23, 22.4, 21.5, 21.4. And our biggest, and this is the important takeaway, our biggest close, I don't know how well you guys can see this, our biggest close was on the 27th of August at just under 20K. So we opened with an average of like 23.8 maybe, and we closed almost half the position at 20,000. We took profit. Because we haven't fallen off a cliff into doom, and really what sparked this was the dollar strength. The dollar strength that we saw yesterday is what made me decide to change these. I'm looking to be a little less aggressive in closing and a little less aggressive in opening. I'm still going to keep these. I'm still going to keep like 32.4, 44.4. I might just get rid of 40,000. It's not really needed. But we've thinned it out. We had a lot more orders. This was a lot more complicated. We've simplified it a lot. And another factor actually in this is funding has cooled down a little bit. I've talked about funding almost every day on stream. It was negative 0.05%, which means we were paying for the short to be open 0.15% of the capital daily, eating away at our realized profit. That's calmed down to 0.17, meaning I guess that would be like a little less bullish. The macro with the dollar yesterday is what compelled me to change. I didn't market order anything. I didn't, close it, etc. I still want this open. It's a good hedge. But I did change it up, and I wanted to share with you guys what I changed because I'm always open. I'm always, I don't care if I win or lose. You guys are here to, get the educations or the knowledge to bask in it. And so if I were to hide my losses, what good would that do you? If I were to hide what I do, what good would that do you? Nothing. Bitcoin has not moved at all. What if it never hits those closes? Well, that's what I'm hoping for, to be honest. That's what I'm hoping for. If it never does, then I mean, in between then and now, or now and then, we'll have to I'll have to look for some kind of place I want to cut this off. At the moment, I don't recommend trading with leverage unless you know what you're doing. Speaking of that and relevant, Bybit actually is offering free fee-free spot trading. I don't know exactly when it starts. I think it might have started today. For some amount of time. That's how it used to be. That's how back in my day was on GDAX. We used to trade free with limit orders. You can check it out. There's our link. I don't recommend trading without a stop loss. But I know what I'm doing. I'm not sure what I'll do if they never hit. That's kind of my plan. My plan's kind of to get liquidated. I'm not gonna lie. It's a little bit to get liquidated. It's fun to watch. But really what it's doing is it's serving as a hedge to my portfolio. My portfolio is spot. Thus it's long. And the farther Bitcoin falls, the more profit I can take on the short, which offsets those losses a little bit. A little bit. A wee bit. What's up, Hexflex? Are you back again, my friend? Luna and Cell Sacrificers for PLS are going to be happy. Luna Classic and Cell are just like two coins I wouldn't touch with someone else's money right now. Myoku, do you have a TV? What? Almost TP. Cat ears bottom. What's up, Preston Collins? Tony C weighing in with some very intelligent commentary. Asphalt. Right on. Rebellion 111. How you doing, brother? 112 would be top in your book, far back trading for Dixie. Why is that? I'm curious as to like what gives you the 112 target. I'm gonna close our poll. I'm starting to lose hope that we're gonna hit 420 likes, and that'll be the first time we haven't in weeks. I guess we are, as I said in the beginning, this is not our normal stream time, and it's Friday, and nothing's really happening in the market, so it's not super hype. But if you haven't hit the like button yet, guys, we are so close. If we get 420, I'll give away memberships like we do. We have 371. We have 300 of you watching. I think we can squeeze out another 49 likes between us and get some memberships going. Yo, Bullish Crypto, how you doing, brother? What's why Bitcoin must go to the moon? That's right, Round Earth. Miners going over to ERG steadily. ERG chart. What is ERG? Dixie Top says anti. That is a bold call. I would love for that to be true. I would love for that to be true. It is a slow day. 200 target by 2031. That's an even bolder call. And honestly, that's a much bolder call. 200 targets. So the dollar is gonna hit new all-time highs. I don't know. Do you think that that's... I'm not sure that will happen. The reason being, well, I don't know if it's the reason. And maybe it's because I don't want it to. But if that happens, we will see maybe the entire world liquidate. We could see like a global capitulation. Like complete global capitulation. Countries defaulting, just entire nations like crumbling. It would be very bad. It would be extremely bad. Nobody would be able to repay their debt. It would be a weird scenario where the whole world owes someone else money and no one has the money to repay it. It doesn't make sense. The same way our economies have very much existed in a world where everyone has borrowed money from everyone. That doesn't exist. It doesn't make sense. I don't know. Hopefully the collapse of that is avoidable. Maybe it isn't. I'm not sure. All I know is if the dollar moves, I mean, 121 will cause pain. 165, if we saw it move to 165, there will be a lot of really serious pain and consequences for lots of people. And I hope that doesn't happen. If only our hopes really did anything, right? If only that like mattered. It's got my hopes. Yeah, all-time high on the dollar would be complete chaos. Like chaos. Show me the charts and I'll tell you the news. We do say that here often. Preston Collins is feeling chatty today. It's good to have you, man. Everybody else is being too quiet. Everyone short Lunacy says Matthew Huff. Honestly, guys, I said this last stream. I'll say it again. Everything I do, I try to do for our community to keep them safe. You know, avoid scams, not fall into traps. Certainly, I'm not always right, but I heavily caution using leverage at all with LUNC, the Luna Classic. I wouldn't touch it with spot. Heavily caution against any leverage trading on it, period. I think it's a really fast way to lose your money. I think it's a really fast way to get liquidated. Matthew S., you know me too well, brother. There is pain ahead of us. I'm just hoping that pain can be contained. Or at least that pain results in some kind of better world. Some kind of value added. If we're going to have the pain, hopefully that comes with building and making the quality of life around the world better. And it won't be overnight, obviously. The pain will come and that will happen down the road. But there's a very real scenario where the pain comes and nothing happens. We don't get anything. We don't see value added to the world, and in fact we just see, it bled dry. That's very real and very historic. I hope that we can have at least some progress from it. Grant Stork, I mean, pretty much, man. Do I think Bitcoin has bombed yet, Rixta? I mean, I do for now. Until it breaks.
ERGUSD daily, please. Thanks, Tom.
All right, bullish crypto. Only for you. I don't think I've ever looked at ERG. No. Never looked at it. All right, let's make a chart. It got dark. CB, we sit in a very realistic timeline where things can get dark. The pace at which it happens and the pace at which it happens and let's call it how violent it happens will very much determine how much pain the world sees. The world is due for some pain, sadly, and we've seen it. It's not my wishes or anything. I don't want it to happen, but we're due. We haven't paid the piper, man. We borrowed and we never paid the piper back. Gotta pay the piper sometime. We are capable of kicking it down the road. In fact, we're more than capable. We're exquisite at kicking it down the road. It's maybe our greatest strength. Our greatest ability. But we can't avoid it forever, and that bill might be due. I don't know, man. It might be. It's feeling like it's due. I don't know what ERG is, but for Mr. Bullish Crypto, I'm going to plot it out here. Looking at the quarterly, you have some pretty major levels. I think we can even just say boom. Last quarter's open, 470. So we have a tight trading range, or an assigned trading range. If we break the trading range, probably looking for 77 cents. Probably. It's on the quarterly. Let's go to the monthly. Really random spot for it to find support. If we break the range, I said 77 from the quarterly. Honestly, 122 is likely to be a stronger support despite the quarterly. So I'm going to get rid of that. 1019, I like that. 470. Like that. We have some good numbers. Let's see how this looks. Kind of right at your 618 retracement. Finding resistance. I mean, we haven't seen a higher high in September yet. If we see August's high broken, 470 is a logical spot. It's a logical spot to look. Your 618 retracement is right here where price is, though. 342, which typically we would say You don't normally look to go like long at a 618. Not financial advice. Never financial advice. Hypothetically, there's a short play that someone could take. Oh my god, I hate how it does this. Okay, hypothetically. In a hypothetical. If you were bearish on the market, one could look to take a short with a stop. Why did this get so weird on the side? It's like double the space on the side that it usually has. One could look to take some kind of trade. Looking to stop above last month's high. If last month's high breaks, you're looking for a move to 471. You could try to short there, potentially. I think taking a long from right here into resistance at 470 is the wrong side of the risk to reward play. Personally. We got uneven butt cheeks on the day. Or on the week. Okay. VWAP is coming down despite momentum and money flow going up. That's not awesome, but that might just be because we've seen it consolidate at this high for multiple weeks. Did break this descending trend. Did break your descending trend there. Let's see how this looks as we zoom in. I mean, you can definitely see something like this playing out. I think if I invert it, it'll be easier to see. Something like this. That would probably play along with our short pretty well. We could see something like that. It would be an inverse head and shoulders. RSI is just like really complicit. It's not really showing us anything. Let's get into the day. Higher high on... Nope, not quite. Almost a higher high in money flow on the day. That could be a very strong sign. It could be a very good bullish signal. Momentum has been positive and has remained positive since July. That ain't bad. Can't say that I'm seeing that across the space. On RSI, you definitely have the threat of bearish divergence on your highs here, as your highs are really just flat and your RSI is coming down. But that isn't really bearish divergence in my opinion until we see it break down, until we see the lows kind of invalidated there. That trade looks sick. Not financial advice. Let's see. Let's see what we got. Let's see where our measured move gives us. Kind of right in between. Nothing really lines up super hot and super great there. I wonder if this actually will do better. Nope. Nope. Well, I guess anyone could have told you this, but if you break August 13th's high, $3.63, I think 470 is the logical spot that I would look to take some profit. If you don't, or you're looking for just a, maybe in my opinion, a better risk to reward play, I think you would look to take the opposite stance with your targets down at your 618. Let me draw a straight line, because that looks pretty clean. That looks pretty clean. It's an interesting chart. Showing a little strength, not a lot of things are. It does look like, interestingly enough, July 13th, which I believe was the date I kept getting confused. June 13th, wait a minute. A month later, I don't know what that means. That's weird. There we go. There we go. You have a potential for your inverse hidden shoulders pattern, and that would play out by probably hitting that 470, rejecting, going lower, having a higher low and moving up. Obviously, I don't know anything about this coin, I don't know any fundamentals, I don't know what it is. Looks like it has over 2 years of traded history, so that's not bad. Last thing I'm going to do, and I'm going to wrap up this chart, is boom! I love it. I love to see it. Love to see it. your macro from your lowest point to your highest point. Boom, you're 618, $1.22. So what I could say is that if you don't get it, or even if you do hit this, $1.22 or $1.23 in that range, likely to find support there. That may be a more opportune time to take any position at all. Like this short position that we hypotheticalized is really just forcing a play when we don't need to. I love this. I love this 618, man. It's perfect. It's perfect with that $1.22. I knew that was speaking to me. I think that's probably where the play is. It may never get there. It may never get there. But I think it's smarter than just randomly taking a long here as it's consolidating at a resistance or, you know, at a high. The short play is just the probability favored one in my opinion. But I think the real play for this will be down at $1.22 if it ever comes there. So, thank you, Bullish Crypto. Appreciate you, my brother. Appreciate you. Bitcoin has not moved a muscle, and it's no surprise that we only have like 300 viewing because nothing is happening. We do have 394 likes though. We have more likes than people watching. If we got 25 more, I wonder what that would be like. No pain, no gain, baby. Hassan, hi sir, from which price can we make for ETH long? I mean, you can long from wherever you want, right? I can pull up Ethereum. Ethereum so far holding 1420, 1,420. One of my favorite numbers. I remember we looked at that in the last stream and I said I love the response to that support. You didn't invalidate July's low. It's looking better than Bitcoin. If you break 1420, you're moving back to the previous resistance that tested as support. That's 1230. That might not be a bad spot. Not financial advice, might not be a bad spot. The haze for days. That's also pretty much 1210, where our 618 retracement is. That lines up well. So you got to make your own decisions when it comes to your own money. But that would be a spot I would eye. At least if it's even just like a little bounce, maybe like back to like 1,420 down here. High probability. No guarantees it'll make it. I really do like how it held that strongly. Market Cipher is actually on the day pretty favorable as well. Not so much on the week, but on the day. Ethereum never tested, since we hit the low in June, it never tested its 618 retracement, which is 2100. It got very close, but it didn't actually test it. So to see a full test of about 2100, probably in the cards, maybe, you know, it moves up from here to do that. Maybe it follows more of this pattern and it moves to here to do that. Time will tell. I don't know. With Ethereum and the merge going on, there's a lot of moving pieces. I know everybody loves trading Ethereum, but I don't think it's a good idea to try to trade fundamentals like the merge right now. It is high risk. A lot of elements moving. A lot of moving parts. Did we get 411? We only need 9 friggin' likes. Can we do it? 9 likes. Let me shout people out. Maybe that'll help. Anti-BK. You know what? I'm going to pull this chart up just so I can have the SEO in the video description. That's funny. We looked at this last stream and I said, this chart isn't really, it is deceptive because this isn't the real chart. The real chart is this. The real chart is it traded somewhere up here and it fell to fractions of a cent. Please be careful with this coin. I know you have unit bias and you don't understand why that's going to get you wrecked. Go Google unit bias. I'm going to put it in chat, in caps. Google, not in caps, unit bias. That's your homework. And we said this on this chart, for just looking at this data, even though this isn't the actual chart because we don't have the history before it. If you're just looking at this chart, you'd look at the wick high at 00029. It hit it yesterday. It tested it today. It's pushed back down. Pretty perfect, actually. Please be careful with this. Guys, so many people are going to get themselves wrecked here. Thinking, oh, Luna, it was $100. And right now, like, I don't know, $100 of it gets you like a jillion coins. And so if it goes back to even just $1, then I'm a million jillionaire. That's not how it works, man. The reason this dropped 99.9999999% is because this has different mechanics at play. It didn't drop it because people sold it necessarily. It dropped because the supply expanded. The supply expanded in order to try to stabilize UST, which also collapsed. That's what got us here. It is a incredibly high risk and fundamentally illogical play, in my opinion. Doesn't mean it can't work, but I think that there's safer moves. I think that there's smarter moves. If you need some hopium, which I know that's all you want anyway, you're going to ignore my warning. As they do. There you go. Here'd be my upside targets, and they're pretty hefty. This would be a 3x to the 1618. This would be a 3x. And this would be just under 10x at the 2 measured move. If Lunacy even breaks this high, which it could, I would look here. I would look to take profit. At least to take my principal back out of the trade at just before 0.001. Just before 1... Wait. Just before 1/10 of a penny? 0.00096 or something. Maybe put it at 9.4, something weird. I would look to definitely take my investment back out here. If it even gets there. If it even breaks this high. We don't know. I really, really caution everyone to be careful. Leverage on this is the silliest idea that I've ever heard. Please try not to get wrecked. I care about you. I care about every single one of you. Every single one of you who gets completely wrecked means one person out of the market, which means my love of crypto grows slower. I don't like that. I don't like it. It's not bad. Got a lot of 618 sitting right about there. The last thing in the world I would do is long it right here. Last thing in the world I'd do. I wouldn't short it either. Like I said, I wouldn't use leverage on this. But what I might do if I couldn't control myself is I might look in this range. If and when it falls back into this range, I might look in that range to play some kind of bounce. 0.00013, 0.0000161. Not financial advice. I really don't recommend it overall. There's just this lunacy isn't like Bitcoin. Its cap is dynamic. It is very different. Who even believes in this project anymore? Like the people who invested in Luna, certainly not. They lost all their money. Like who believes in it? It really to me feels like it's just a unit bias problem. And people thinking that they're going to get rich quick. That doesn't exist. There's no such thing. Let's go. Man, Bitcoin is all kinds of crazy not moving during this live. September 13th, Bitcoin 23K says Saeed Ashraf. 20, there we go. We got 420 likes. All right, at least we can like put that down in the books as we got 420. Thank God. Let's gift those memberships. So YouTube will randomly select 5 of you. Dude, what a handsome voice. YouTube will randomly select 5 of you. What it says, you have to enable gifts. You have to allow gift accepting. I don't know how you do that. When I logged in with my phone, it just had like a prompt when I joined the chat, and it was like, will you allow to be gifted? It's really weird. It's really weird that it like you have to accept it. I don't know why, but you have to have it enabled, and that's the one piece of information I have. And the other piece of information I have is that YouTube favors accounts that engage with the stream specifically and the channel. So before I do these, I always give you guys like 60 seconds to go ahead, spam the chat. If you haven't liked, if you haven't subscribed. All those things are going to make it more probable that you win versus some random lurking account. So 60 seconds on the clock. We'll count it down. I'm going to hit my vape. Smoking's bad. If you've won a membership or are currently a member, feel free to spam some emojis because I don't think you can win if you already have one, so you don't have to worry about it. Big Chungus, that's right. Dude, did I just hear the subscriber sound for the first time? For the first time in this whole stream, it played the subscriber. I'm going to play it again because that's how special it is. Give you a minute. This guy increasing his chances of winning. Rolandas. Zavadazis. Don't worry, that's how I feel like people pronounce. Zavadazakis. Is that Greek? Maybe. And now it is retroactively telling me Andraz Grasic and Pedro Pentera have also subscribed during the live word. Right on. I appreciate you all. All right, we've got 20 more seconds to spam. Make sure you're subscribed. You know, it's a good time to you jump in the Discord. Make sure you're in the Discord. Not related. I have to type it all out though because it's not gonna let me. 10 crown. There you go. We're gonna do, as we always do, live airdrop after the stream. You know what? I can actually do this. I'm talking to myself at this point. I can do this. The timestamps are good. I can reload this. You should make sure you follow me on Twitter in this time. You should join the Discord so you can be part of the airdrop after our live streams. Every live stream, I make you all Bitcoin holders by airdropping you some sats. You don't have to do anything except for be in the Discord. What's up, Jesse Wilson? I'm going to shout out Bybit. I'm going to shout out Market Cypher, and I'm going to shout out Femix for sponsoring us, keeping our lights on during the darkest of times. So we're gonna gift these memberships. Get it in. I'm gonna play our theme song while we do it. No. There we Here they go. I love that song. Shout out to Axel Boy. I don't know if Axel Boy's been here in a long time, but apparently he's like a pretty well-known artist on Spotify. Made that for us many, many moons ago, and I still appreciate it every single day. Every day. Something about my freaking LLC crap. Let's take a look at that then. The memberships have been gifted. You'll never get it. Well, you never know. I don't know who gets them yet. It random. I don't know what it waits for. It's deciding. It's thinking about it. Doesn't show me. Jeffrey DeGroff subscribed. What's up, man? Good to have you here. Thank you for subscribing. Excellent choice. I don't know what it's waiting for. It's thinking. It's deciding who the most worthy is. Yeah, taxes is a good question. Yeah. Something about my filing and tax implications. Womp, womp, womp. Womp. I'll get to that after the live stream. I don't know. It doesn't usually take this long. I will say that it does usually take a little bit. But I don't see it on my end either. I don't see it. It just says 5 memberships. It hasn't loaded who they are yet. It does. It will say it in the chat eventually. I guess no one's worthy. I don't know. That's weird. I want my money back, YouTube. Give my money back. Give out these memberships, man. Are we getting trolled? We just like getting straight up trolled by YouTube. YouTube's like, we just got rugged by YouTube. YouTube, unrug us. Make us whole again. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to tell everybody. I'm sure it will distribute them. I don't know. It takes a little while, yeah, but I don't feel like it takes this long. It doesn't usually take this long. I don't know. It might mean you were super right, Preston. It might mean that like for some reason no one gets them, and I just give YouTube some of my money. Crickets. Wow. I guess we'll give it a few more minutes. Like, how long could this possibly take? I think I got rugged. Did I get a... I paid them. It says PayPal paid Google 26 whatever for the YouTube memberships. They better freaking deliver. Like what? I don't know what to say. Play a song again. All right. Yeah, I think we're just all winners, really. I think we're all winners. This has never had, like, it's never taken this long. It's been 4 minutes. It's been 4 whole minutes. No, it couldn't be because, like, there aren't people that have it allowed or something. I don't know. We got rugged by YouTube. At least we have it recorded. Thank you, Gasper. We have 300 witnesses. We have 300 witnesses. Like, that we got rugged. Straight up. Yeah, the chat header says 5. Just didn't say who gets them. So I don't know. You'll testify. I'll need all of your testimonies for this. It's going to be a long, expensive legal battle. Well, I don't know what to say, to be honest. I imagine it will give them out. 3 of 5 is picked. What? I imagine it will give them out eventually. I don't know. I'm at a loss. You will if needed. Thank you, brother. Well, I don't know what to say, so I don't know what to say, so I do know what to say. Check out the links in the video description below. Join the Discord. Follow me on Twitter. Make sure you're subscribed and liked. Maybe someone's gonna wake up. Maybe 5 of you will wake up to a membership. I don't know. Shout out to our sponsors, guys. Happy Friday, everybody. We did get our 420 license, so go forth and blaze it. I love you all.